Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to hypno-coaching, the hypnotic arts and sciences generally, and spirituality. If you'd like to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free e-newsletter, check out my website at the end of this video. Today I want to talk about branding, not the thing you do with a hot iron and cattle, but promoting yourself or your company by virtue of some distinctive product design or theme. This topic is on my mind because I'm just back from a professional conference where colleagues who know a lot more about this sort of thing than I do were saying that things are changing. Remember the old slogan, as solid as Sears? I do. I grew up with it. One of the few memories I have of my father was him saying, "You can never go wrong when you shop at Sears." Well, back in the day, the department store called Sears sold only store brands. Founded in 1886 when Richard Warren Sears started selling pocket watches, this company grew to be the largest retailer in the world. In fact, one of the houses my family lived in during my youngest years was a multi-generational building that was purchased as a kit from a Sears catalog. I once studied under a martial arts master in Michigan who lived in a magnificent Victorian house that was also a Sears catalog house. You could buy anything from them. They had some labels of their own, Craftsman tools and Kenmore appliances that were very well respected, but they didn't actually build the appliances nor make the tools. They simply put their brand on products that met quality standards and they stood behind them. Apart from these label brands, any product you could find at Sears typically came in three quality levels: good, better, and best. Even the lowest level, good, was in fact pretty good. If you just needed a serviceable product, you could go to the good level and it would be okay. Where if you wanted a luxury item, the best level was there. And it was all real. The products were good. You could depend on them. As solid as Sears. But Sears went bankrupt in modern times. What happened? Well, there are books written about that, but to my eyes, and they were always a store brand I liked, they lost the thing that was their unique selling proposition. If you went to Sears, you didn't have to worry about someone taking advantage of you. If you knew it was from Sears, it had at least a basic quality and wouldn't break as soon as you got home. That changed. They stopped their own brands and brought in products from other companies. The dependability of the products vanished, and customer service got really bad. One incident stands out in my mind. Linz and I needed a new mattress, and we buy top shelf products for things like that because we think a good night's sleep is worth a lot. Now, we have a platform bed, which means it doesn't use a box spring. So we went to Sears, and I wanted to buy a high-end name brand mattress that they had for sale. So far, so good. But then they said we had to buy the matching box spring, which we would have no use for. Well, if you don't buy the box spring, they said, there's absolutely no warranty on the mattress. What? You're not going to stand behind something you sell? So I said, if the mattress is delivered damaged, you're saying you wouldn't make good on it? That's right, said the helpful salesperson. Well, we didn't buy that mattress and I never shopped at Sears again. The brand had failed. So I was reflecting on all this during the recent convention of the National Guild of Hypnotists, where colleagues who are really gifted in matters related to marketing said branding is over. What he meant by that is that so many companies that used to be strong brands that you could trust had lost the trust they once had. You couldn't count on them to treat the customer well anymore. As a result, no one trusts brands. Well, it works in other arenas too. It used to be that if you were a healthcare worker for a big network or a famous hospital, that meant something. If you were certified by an authoritative credentialing organization, that mattered. It still sort of does. I mean, I'm very proud of my board certification as a chaplain and as a hypnotist, but it doesn't matter as much as it used to. These days, in fact, some of the most famous hypnotists, like Paul McKenna of Great Britain, don't appear to hold any certifications at all, or if they do, they're not promoted prominently in their materials. But McKenna is a hypnotist to the stars. He's world famous, and I hear he is very, very good. But he doesn't depend on someone else's brand for his credibility. He is his own brand. And that was the theme of my colleague. These days, people don't care much about where you went to school. They don't really care about how many certifications you have. They only care about what they've heard you can do for them. These days, it's not about brands, credentials, or certified competencies. It's all about reputation. Now, on one level, this is reassuring to me personally because after 35 years of practice and decades of work at the national level, my reputation is pretty decent. But I'm pondering what this means. We live in a time where a lot of people have lost trust in institutions that they used to hold in high regard. Suspicion about government, agencies, legislators, courts, schools has never, in my opinion, been so great. The issues we face are so complicated that we're giving up trusting external authority because partisanship or corruption seems to be everywhere. People care about what they feel and are uninterested in having those feelings challenged, but they do act on those feelings. Now, how this will play out in the larger social scheme is anyone's guess. But at the local level, I think what is happening is that people are reaching out to each other and trusting on the basis of individual relationships and character. This may not be a bad thing. As T.S. Eliot put it is impossible to design a system so perfect that no one needs to be good. And maybe that's the insight people are coming back to. Brands like Sears seem to be trustworthy, and they were for a while, but the good people at the top left, and the brand alone no longer ensured quality. In the end, it all comes down to the quality of the people who are involved in whatever operation is being considered. So maybe people will start to evaluate things on the basis of the character of the people involved instead of labels or brands. And we can each be our own brand by becoming the very best version of ourselves and letting other people see that. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe because that does help me. Stay well and stay safe.